you know, there's a big difference between me and like what somebody else would do with what I have, with the gifts I have, and the elevation I've gone through and stuff. And you know, they wouldn't be looking for a wife. Yeah, they're looking to line the girls up, one behind the other, down the street. You know, and I gotta say, when I started this millenniums ago, I had the same idea too. But I've come full circle, and I don't feel that way anymore. You know, I was young then. I was in my 20s. Every guy in his 20s wants to screw anything that moves. You know, it's just you're not thinking about marriage. You know. Now I'm a little old. I'm too old for that. Yeah, you see one, you see them all. So there's no need to line them up. Yeah, and that's not the part of the female anatomy that you're really interested in, or should be. At 20, you are, of course. That's the only thing you see, you know, what you care about. But when you get older, you know, I don't know if I speak for all older men, but it's about the heart. It's about not the head, the way they think and what they care about, and you know, do they love certain things or think certain ways, stuff like that. You know, not how big their breasts are, you know, stuff like that. It changes. And well, you know, just being a guy, I'm hardwired to look at breasts. You know, I don't know. I'm guilty just like every other guy. You know, no nice ass. You know, whatever. It makes me look. You know, when I worked in the city, I felt like I had a broken neck. You know, because I just it was really weird. You know, I couldn't keep myself concentrated looking forward. You know, as soon as I look forward and they pass me by, I'm like, check that one out. You know, it was really hard working in the city. You know, the city is hard to find a girlfriend. It's very hard to find a girlfriend in the city. You know, uh, but if you do actually meet someone, uh, they live in Jersey, they live in Staten Island, they live in Connecticut. You know, it's just I don't feel like going to Connecticut on the weekends. You know, and it's just that kind of dynamic. Well, they live in Tokyo. Well, they live in California. I met all kinds. You know, it was like everywhere but Nassau County and Long Island. You know, I couldn't find any of them. So, it's a weird dynamic. You know, and how do you choose? You know, it's like, you know, it's one. And I feel bad for girls too, because girls are more uh, subject to who comes up to them, and you know, because they're not supposed to go to the men. But and believe me, that's a bad idea for women to go to the men, because the men are like, sure, you want to sleep with me, sure. And they don't care, you know. The, but when the man comes to you, you know, he really likes you. So that's why the dynamic is the way it is. But they're subject to whoever comes up to them. And it's not so much that they're good looking, the ones that come up to them. They're the ones that have the balls to come up to them. You know, and like I said, you're all geldings. None of you have balls. So it makes things difficult. You know, the pretty girls, they sit home every night. They sit home on the weekends and stuff. Nobody's got the balls to go up to them. You know, it's like they don't go. And if they do meet somebody at a bar or something, they meet the drunk guy. You know, the guy who's got 20 beers in him, and he'll talk to the girl because he can't even see out of his eyes. You know, so it's weird like that. But I don't know how much that's going to change, because the dynamic can't change. You know, you think women are going to go after the men in the new world? I don't see that working. You know, I used to have a base. I didn't have, my friend had the baseball hat. I didn't have it. But it said, sex is like a savings account. Once you make a withdrawal, you lose interest. And that's basically what you do. And if the guy doesn't come up to you and you go up to him, he's going to have sex with you. He's going to walk away after that, And maybe you'll get a 9-month package out of the deal. And you don't want it, So it makes things difficult, And if they come up to you and they sleep with you and they really like you, it will last more than one time, and hopefully, and have more of a chance of lasting more than one time. So I don't see that dynamic changing much, But we'll see. Now that the women are in charge, It's like, could you imagine all male brothels? I don't see that happening. It's not going to be like a flip, where now the women are going to whorehouses, So certain things aren't going to work that way.